Welcome to another edition of Beyond Game Day. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. How does one even start off the show? I guess if there's one certainty in life, in particular when it comes to sport, as that's what we're about here on Beyond Game Day, is that, well, sports needs certainty. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're the coach needs certainty that a player that he chooses will be available, and acupuncturist or a physiotherapist will be available when he's needed to treat an athlete or to treat a sports person that is going to be part of the stronger together squad, as it were. Hint, hint, Springboks. But there's things about certainty in life, in particular with sports, that are a must. Yes, a result, Vata, Ngobeni, ENCA sports editor, is not a certainty. You're not going to win every game you play, but it's a certainty that you are going to show up or try and show up, as it were, in as far as making sure that, well, you get whichever result. Because if you're not there, then you can't complain unless you want to roll the game. The one thing that has been missing in South African sports, and it pains me to go there again, because I do not want, in particular Beyond Game Day, to be one of those shows that seems to be hammering all the time at the South African Football Association, which is SAFA. But the past 2 weeks since Bafana's return from the World Cup, there's one thing that's for sure. I can guarantee the certainty of is that we're uncertain what's going on in that office, and it shows with what has come up in the past couple of days. In fact, what has come up this hour alone as my interaction with the SAFA president, Dr. Danny Jordaan. South Africans, he says, you must wait. It's all nonsense. Quote unquote.
One thing I can say, that there is no such thing that SAFA signed a 1-year contract with Broos. It doesn't exist. It's nonsense. And it's better that these nonsense are not put out there. So I just came back yesterday and I saw, what is this now? It's nonsense.
So do we have a coach?
Yeah, we have a coach.
Who's the coach, sir?
No, we will deal with it. There is a process. You cannot stop me in the street and hijack a decision. It's not going to happen.
We're not hijacking a decision, Dr. Jordaan. I think South Africa deserves to know where we stand right now.
South Africa must wait.
Yes, we are waiting.
Must understand the World Cup ended just yesterday.
I think maybe there's confusion because we come back, then we're told you said Broos was still employed. Then we heard that maybe it's the clarity that we're seeking, sir.
You have your answer then. Why are you asking me?
Just for clarity.
Don't interrupt when I'm talking.
Okay, apologies, sir.
No, you're out of order. And you must behave yourself.
But we have to ask the question, sir. Where do you stand?
You can ask your question, but I'm just told you. We're having processes and things that must happen. So, you must wait.
Yeah. So
okay.
President, what is the timeline?
We are going to, I just told you, I arrived in the country yesterday from the World Cup. I did not even meet anybody from SAFA. But you want a timeline.
What about the elections, Mr. President? Who's the vision for the elections?
Ask those who are interested in the election. Ask them.
One thing that's certain about them is that they're going to mess up. Me, Thabiso, I don't mind talking about them all the time. Because they make us talk about them all the time. To them, it seems like they enjoy being spoken about in a bad way. It's one of the things that I've realized about South African sport, especially the administrators. They don't like a good story. To them, it must just be bad. How poorly handled has Hugo Broos' contract issue been? Umadala told us a long time, last year already, that after the World Cup, he's stepping down.
After the last game of the World Cup, yeah.
He's stepping down. He's going to go spend time with his family. He wants to be a grandfather proper. He's too old for this stuff. Before he left, he said the same thing. Why didn't SAFA go find a replacement for Hugo Broos?
He comes back to South Africa post the World Cup. He says, I'm leaving. Bye-bye. He goes to Belgium. couple of weeks later, he says, I've left.
Thabiso-
SAFA come back and say, hey, he has not left.
You see now, here Madara sits there in Belgium, speaks to the media there and says, I'm done. What does SAFA do?
No, he's not done.
Statement. He's not done. Why don't you just say his contract comes up
For
or
renewal.
expires at the end of July? Once that has expired, we will then see if we can keep him
Or not.
or not. But Thabiso, again, why do we find ourselves here? We spoke about this before going to the World Cup. We said we were going to find ourselves here. Well, show me, were there any lies in what you were saying?
In fact, I don't want to hammer, for the sake of
If
our
there's a
viewers,
certainty about you and I, is that we knew we were going to be here with SAFA about the coach.
yeah, certainty. That's a must. In anything, one thing's for certain. It's either going to get a result that goes your way or a result that goes the other way in Aspire Sports. A draw, we can't take a draw because we want winners. The worst part about this Hugo Broos story, hence I've just said, I've literally just walked out of a briefing. Well, not a briefing, but it had to do with Puti Musimane, who was launching his book on the coaching and the youth and the way forward as far as South African football is concerned, COSAFA football is concerned, the Confederation of Southern African Football, where there's a buy-in from all the other federations locally within the SADC region. And I doorstepped Dr. Danny Jordaan, and I said, look, South Africans would like a clear answer. And the reason why I asked him this question, just a couple of days ago, 48 hours ago, there was a pronouncement saying, no, Hugo Broos has been given an extension for a year. Danny Jordaan, quote unquote, says to me at this briefing, that is absolute nonsense. I just came from the World Cup. I'm reading this thing. It's nonsense. There's no such thing. And I said to him, okay, but for clarity, South Africans need to know, surely it cannot be at this point in time, the fact that you have just returned from the World Cup, you're telling us that we must wait. What are we waiting for when countries, even Spain, even your Real Madrids, have already announced coaches and already announced changes way before they went to a World Cup? It speaks to a bigger administrative problem we have in South Africa, and it's there to bear, period.
Thabiso, you think they think there's an administrative problem? They don't. They think they're cruising just fine. To them, this is normal. To them, this is normal. Unfortunately, their normal is abnormal in the world of sport. Completely abnormal. Whether Dr. Jordaan, I heard that clip where he says to you, he just got back yesterday, blah, blah, blah.
What is he still doing at the World Cup when it ended the other weekend? What is he still doing?
It's fine. It took him a while to get here.
How?
You know?
Why?
You know, the mistake. And
do what?
And, just have fun. Sushinyana, caviar, shaza.
He can barely walk, my guy, that guy.
It's fine. But he can eat.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
Gout.
well,
Stop the meat.
caviar is not meat.
Okay.
Huh?
What is caviar?
Kandele fish.
It's meat.
Ah.
Okay.
And.
That's why we sporties.
So here's the thing, Thabiso, is that no matter what happens, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Whether, for me, he arrived Friday or Saturday or even Sunday, the president of SAFA, there is no way he doesn't know what is happening in the very same organization he leads. So this deception to you, but I just arrived, is not working. In fact, Thabiso, I've got an issue with Puti Musimane now.
Mm-hmm.
You launch a book, you know the media is going to ask you one question.
Are you taking the Bafana job?
Are you taking the Bafana job? Have they approached you?
No comment.
And now when you say you don't want to comment, then you should have just delayed your book launch another day. That's the only thing we want to know. I don't care. That's all we want to know. Who is going to be coaching Bafana Bafana when you play the AFCON qualifiers in September?
Which starts, in fact,
In September.
and I think for the sake of, people should not think that we are making a big noise out of SAFA because we're gunning for them. AFCON starts in September. Qualifications.
Yeah.
As we speak, Banyana as a federation being SAFA, AFCON starts this weekend.
Yeah.
The head coach of the men's football team, in essence, is the technical director quote unquote, or the sporting director of football in the country. The fact that I was at pains.
Why are you
Mr. Jordaan,
surprised?
Who is the coach?
Why are you surprised?
You will know. And I said, no, but who is the current coach of South Africa?
Why are you surprised?
I am, because it pains me.
I spoke with certainty before the World Cup that would be here. Guess where we are, Thabiso?
We're here.
They're here. When I said the whole lot must go, I'm going to repeat it, they must go.
Well, it seems like they
I
could.
don't know if the other guy who's coming in, who's picked up his hand, Usandile Zungu, will make any difference. I don't know. But you know what? I think it's enough now. I really think it's enough.
Yeah.
We have been beaten, we've been battered, we are bruised. There's nothing left. Our souls are gone. They're not even, we are soulless. As people who love sport, as people who love football in this country, because of the shenanigans that the administrators at SAFA continue to do. Mabamb.
And when you say whoever's coming in, the question actually even again post that Q&A I had with Danny Jordaan, then the question came up, oh, by the way, what do you think of the upcoming elections? His was, and I want to look into camera when I say this, he said, go ask those people who are interested in elections.
I think the man is tired now.
He's been tired.
Let's put him out to pasture. I think so.
It seems that
He's got to go now.
has he probably swallowed the fact that he actually will not, even if he wanted to, get another running for this position, he just does not have the numbers. One, Uzungu comes in with the province of. Let me phrase this way: Uzungu comes in the province of KZN. That's where he hails from. Danny Jordaan enjoyed at least 11 votes from the regions within KZN. We've seen the deputy president of SAFA, Bennett, from the Western Cape. Again, big numbers, comes in and backing Uzungu. Zungu comes in with the backing of the likes of Lucas Khatebe. And I think maybe just to be totally clear, the nomination process is still open. So we're not by in any way saying we are backing Uzungu.
They're closing the 15th.
They're closing on the 25th.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they closed 26th. Yeah, so the nomination is still open. But the point is...
There's no one who's going to put up their hand.
But we don't know that. Yeah, but mine is...
No, certainty. I bring certainty to football.
But let me finish this point.
No one's going to put up their hand.
Let me finish this point. You got the current deputy president of SAFA, Bennett, who is Danny Jordaan's deputy president, coming out in the presser where Uzungu raised his hand and says he wants to run against Danny Jordaan. He wants to, not against Danny Jordaan, he's running for the presidency of SAFA. Do you think Danny Jordaan has actually come to a point where he realizes that maybe it's actually Amaza Kutegile Hambil?
Whenever people think that Danny is done out, the man comes back stronger.
But money from World Cup is not coming out until after the elections. I'm not saying he was going to use that money. I'm just saying.
All I'm saying to you, do not underestimate this man.
You think so?
Do not underestimate this man. Many have tried to take him on.
But what you're saying, I don't want to position this.
And I'm not saying that Usandile Zungu won't win.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that many have tried, many have failed.
Do you understand what it would mean if the regions of SAFA come back and vote in? And again, I've got no individual column with Danny Jordaan.
No one has. Okay,
administratively,
you and I don't.
Yeah, administratively, I've got serious problems with how he's run SAFA. So my question is, do you think... Yes, well, it's his boss, his executive. Do you think, from where we are standing, SAFA has got the gall, when I say gall, the executive, have the gall or the kahunas to vote him back in? As somebody who's been in sport for this long, you and I,
how many times have they done it? You're asking a fish. You're just taking a fish out of water, and you're asking it, are you going to swim?
I'm asking the fish.
If I put you into water, are you going to swim?
I'm asking the fish this time, can you swim backwards?
You've not seen orcas, clearly.
Yeah.
You've not seen orcas.
Yeah, there's a big fish, those ones.
They're killers, those ones.
Killer whales, those ones.
They're killers, those ones. Anything that threatens their survival, they kill off.
Tell you who's not threatening our survival, and they're trying to, but we are killing them off. We're in their head. Coach Rassie Erasmus, the Nations Championship, third leg ended. We're now to the business end, as it were, for what this year has in plan for South Africa. The greatest rivalry coming. Yes, there are some matches between now and then, but Rassie laying out his plans, 43-player squad going out there. We know what it would look like. He's got 3 teams in the back of his mind. Yeah, it's been a great run.
Unbelievable run. And Thabiso, there's a lot of talk out there about 3 different teams over 3 different weekends. What does it bring you? 3 consecutive
Wins.
What is it doing? Blooding in depth. Yeah, Springboks are not as convincing as what the All Blacks have been. Who cares?
The All Blacks. Hey, come on.
my thing,
All of a sudden they're talking too much.
My
They
thing,
beat
Thabiso.
Ireland 40 points something, and they're like,
and my
South
thing,
Africa's
Thabiso,
never been
is
thingy.
obviously there's a resurgence of hope and belief in New Zealand about the All Blacks. They've really coming in.
Yeah.
You know?
But even then, how are they even judging us when we change squads?
Thabiso. Here's the thing. And I was listening to some other guy on some pod talking about Rassie's first team has not played together, the cohesion and whatever. These guys have played together for over 8 years.
Yeah. They've aligned for that long. The only thing that Russ has done is just new blood here.
They can even anticipate when the other guys want to take a fight. And he's in another province.
Almost like me and you.
No.
I know when you take fights there by the office.
No, don't fight.
I just sit next to me.
No, don't fight. No. I think, Thabiso, people enjoy beating down the Springboks and making them the underdog. It's a dangerous place to put the Springboks.
But it's a nice place to.
But the Springboks no longer care. But the Springboks no longer care.
I think South Africans don't care.
No, the Springboks themselves no longer care because they wear their favorite tags, with such aplomb. And all they know is that they get on the field and they do what needs to be done.
I think that's where I'm going.
Whether they're underdogs, they're favorites, it doesn't matter. In the same way that the junior Springboks salute Kevin Foot.
Yeah, boo.
Salute Siposetu Nembelele.
Yeah.
Salute. Back to back. We become the first country. You see, the thing is, Thabiso, this talk about the All Blacks, it's still coming. We still have to play Argentina before them. We are failing to recognize something. We become the first country. In the history of rugby, back-to-back
World Cup champions.
World Cup champion men's, senior men's.
Oh, senior men's. Back-to-back junior World Cup champions.
Sevens men's.
I want to group the 15s together. A back-to-back under 20s junior championship.
Yes. And back-to-back sevens
world champions.
You've got to acknowledge what Rassie has done, along with so many other people, like about Dave Vessels, people who were hands-on at SARU. You've got to acknowledge our school system.
Yeah.
You've got to acknowledge our club system because a lot of those clubs are feeding into the Currie Cup size now. You've got to acknowledge the fact that our provinces have kept their Currie Cup teams.
And the Currie Cup has just started as well. Great results. Great results.
And you keep the competition going. You cannot kill the competition.
Yeah.
We've got to credit the people who run Varsity Cup
Rugby
and Varsity Shield Rugby.
Everyone from Craven Week to...
Then we've got to credit
weeks.
especially the equity partners within the franchises. Whether you're at the Bulls, you're at the Sharks, you're at the Lions, you're at the Stormers. You've got to credit those 4 equity partners for ensuring that some of the best players remain playing for the franchises in the country. We are seeing the results of it.
Yeah.
I wish, not SAFA, because they're lost cause. Not ASA, they're lost cause. I wish SASCOC can take all their affiliates and go down to Platiknoof in Cape Town and ask Mark Alexander.
How do you do it?
How do
we tag us in?
Give us a blueprint.
Hey, Mark, tag us in.
Mark Alexander, give us a blueprint. Rian Oboroza, give us a blueprint. And all those men and women who we don't even know, we don't even see behind the scenes, who have built the brand of South African rugby to where it is.
Yeah.
Hats off to them. I'm not saying SA rugby are clean. I'm not
Of
saying
course, we know there's
governance is at 120%. There are pockets of failure. Border, Eastern Province, pockets of failure. Those ones we know.
glaringly obvious
Yeah,
as well.
pockets
Yeah.
of failure. They are failures. They are failures. They are failures. They are failures. They make SAFA look good.
Yeah.
Those ones. So
Yeah, and in fact,
I'm good, Thabiso.
In fact, you mentioned something pretty interesting when you speak of SASCOC. I mean, SASCOC, as we speak now, Commonwealth Games upon us. Not the biggest team that we wanted to take to the Commonwealth Games by
112
virtue
athletes.
of also Glasgow only hosting 10 sporting events at these games. The biggest issue, I think, for me, yes, the number of athletes, 1, 2. What does it do for our prospects? Because we've always used Commonwealth Games as our yardstick for 1, the Olympics, 2, Operation Excellence, and 3, to blood new athletes who, at the end of the day, we want to take to the big stage. Yes, we have got all Africa Games, etc., etc.
Yeah,
The Commonwealth Games have always been our junior Olympics.
There's no need to worry. I think we were chatting about this in the office. What do we have next year?
Yeah, in a house.
Rugby World Cup.
Rugby World Cup.
Cricket World Cup.
Yo.
Women's Football World Cup. We've got AFCON. You've got Athletics World Champs. You've got Swimming World Champs. Thabiso, it's not going to end. So if SASCOC, they must put aside the Commonwealth Games because now they're not what they used to be.
Yeah. What a shame that has been. What a
Extreme
shame that has been.
But
I mean,
again, Thabiso, it's expensive to host these things. So I understand why is it the state of Victoria in Australia said it's too
when you
costly.
think of it, I mean, Sydney used to host. I mean, Melbourne hosted. I mean, back to back. And I
Even
think
Durban was meant to
Durban
host.
was meant to host. And the budget, all of a sudden, when the math came, is not budgeting.
It's not medicine. So I think there's enough global events happening where our rowers just came back now.
Yeah.
You know, so we are constantly testing our athletes at the highest level. Walaza just ran
another sub 10.
Another sub 10.
And somebody was speaking about what is the first. You know, other media houses, maybe they should start watching Beyond Game.
No.
You know, they come there, they say,
Let's leave
Walaza,
them.
hey, ran the
Let's
first
leave
South
them.
African to run. I'm like, guys, hey, we've been covering these things.
So my thing is that I don't think they're going to be worried. Yes, there's no cricket. Yes, there's no sevens rugby. You know?
We're probably going to win that. Okay, maybe not the cricket.
And I'm glad Katie McKenzie has come to the party with the hockey. The men's and women's team. 3 million rand, go to the World
Has
Cup.
he given the money?
Well, he's waiting for them to sign to some.
But I've got a problem with Gage.
They need to tick off some things.
I've got a problem with Gage, and I love Minister. He reminds me of the other minister who was forefront, Khan Murele. And you know, there've been questions. We cannot not touch on this, otherwise we.
The 31 million.
Yeah, no, we have to touch on it. It's part of our job as journalists. 31 million we've heard was spent for the World Cup. Now, let's contextualize it. It included all the fans. It included Brand South Africa, Proudly South Africa, setting up stalls, setting up this and this, travel, etc., etc. And that raises, because you mentioned hockey, one of our senior women's national hockey players came out and said, hey, Minister, actually, 31 meter went there. All we need to do is actually send teams, especially if you look at the men's team, who just finished second here at home behind probably a field of world beaters, whether it was France, whether it was English, New Zealand. There are federations, and you and I spoke about this, that it's going to catch us, it's going to nip us in the butt sooner or later. What does government do? Yes, we want to have Brand South Africa out there in the world.
Yes.
But the reality is, a budget here to...
This is the mistake a lot of sports ministers make. And I understand the value of having a Kaya village at a World Cup, at an Olympics, and so on. But it costs money. Partner up with Tourism SA, partner up with Brand SA, curtail your costs. Thabiso, I understand that we need to have fans supporting our national teams, but you cannot be paying for fans. Because if I'm not mistaken, prior to the World Cup, the minister said that fans are being paid for by sponsors.
In fact, quote unquote, I'm not paying for the likes of Mama Joy to go there.
So we've got to be prudent with how we spend the taxpayers' money. It's got to go to the things that really need the most. And there are federations like hockey, like your swimming, your athletics, the ones that you know are going to yield you medals
Yeah.
at global events. You pump your money into that. You've got to, Thabiso. Without investing, you're going to get nothing back in return. And yes, maybe we've got a lot of goodwill. Yes, the minister had plenty of meetings. I actually saw on social media, I was meeting with the people in Mexico and so on. All I can say is that 31 million, though, it sounds a bit excessive.
Mind you, the
When
money...
you start thinking about that hockey needs 3 million.
3 million.
When you start thinking that swimming South Africa maybe need 10 million, it's the same argument we put forward.
Sascock needs 20 million for Operation Excellence for the 300 athletes that he wants for the Olympic Games.
So that's why I think when the whole Tourism South Africa issue came up with sponsoring Tottenham at almost R1 billion you're going to be on the shoulder. And it was like, we are with the global team. I'm like, why don't you just put that on the Springboks?
Yeah.
Why don't you put that on the netball team, when we're hosting the World Cup? Why don't you put it on the Proteas who are going to the World Cup? Why don't you put it on our athletes?
Junior and the 20s.
Because they go global.
Yeah.
So
why don't you put in Akani Simbina when he wins 100 meters and Diamond Leagues?
Our ministers need to stop getting excited about being out there. There is so much work that needs to be done in places that no one can see. There are many casters out there. There are many Siakolis out there. I can name many athletes. As long as we don't have the facilities, Thabiso, in the rural areas and the townships, we are still going to be talking about this. I'm telling you now, by the time we go to LA 2028. In the same way I told you, come end of Hugo Broos' contract, we are still going to be talking about who is a Bafana Bafana coach. I want us to close it there.
Yeah. In fact, as you mentioned it, probably revert to how we started the show. There's certain expectations generally when it comes to sport. And those expectations are you put in the work, you get the results. Spain put in the work, they got the results. We need to probably, before we end, applaud them on what a World Cup that has been.
Well done.
It ended up in such a manner, hard fought. In fact, when we had this conversation...
No, it was one-way traffic that...
And I say hard fought because that one team, they were not there to play. They were looking for...
The fight. They were there to brawl.
Yeah, they were to brawl.
They are thugs, those ones.
You cannot be after 90 minutes.
They are thugs, those ones.
22 shots at goal, 0. 12 on target,
they are
0
thugs.
on this side. So I think the best team won throughout the tournament, if I can put it that way.
A new goat?
Yeah.
A new goat?
Definitely.
Listen, all the awards. Football was the ultimate winner. FIFA and everyone else tried to make other people a bunch of thugs, a bunch of hooligans. They wanted to almost gift it to them.
Yeah.
Football ultimately won because football will always win. Football will always win.
Sports will always win.
Sports will always win. Do whatever you want as administrators. Sports will always win, Thabiso. And I'm so glad Spain won.
Yeah.
And the others didn't win.
Again, when I started this Beyond Game Day pod, I said there's expectations that we have as sports people and sportsmen. 2010, who opened the World Cup here at FNB Stadium?
What do you mean? Teams.
Who opened the World Cup opening match?
Teams.
Who?
Bafana and Mexico.
2026, who opened the World Cup?
Bafana and Mexico.
2010, who won the World Cup?
Spain for the first time.
2026?
Spain for the second time.
I rest my case. There's expectations in sport that are just inevitable. But I'll tell you what, the next World Cup, I want to see Spain open the World Cup with somebody else. I want to see something. And those are expectations that South Africans have. And hopefully by then,
who's on
we'll have a coach.
Who's going to close off the SAFA Congress, elective Congress in September?
That one, you see now.
Who's sitting in the dugout for Bafana in September?
That's what I'm saying. That's what's probably going to be the other expectation that South Africans are just going to have to wait and see. And in the words of Dr. Danny Jordaan, as I said to ENCA, South Africans must wait. It's nonsensical. I've just arrived. Stop asking the hard questions. But here on Beyond Game Day, we expected to answer some of those questions that we see week in and week out from you. And the expectations that Vata Ngobeni, ENCA Sports Editor, that our viewers have is that we'll try and address those and answer those. If not, we return again every Saturday morning on game day. We can have another bite at it. And of course, as we said, the big weeks coming up. We've got the Currie Cup back in action. The Premier Soccer League kicks off in earnest in a couple of weeks' time as well. So there's plenty to look forward to right here on ENCA Sports, and particularly on Beyond Game Day. So do stay tuned, and we value your, insight and concerns in all the topics, in all sporting matches. So do join us, drop us a line, drop us comments. We'll try and get back to you in every session that we have these chats. That myself, Vata Ngobeni, ENCA Sports Editor. Bye-bye for this afternoon. Cheers.